Question I just got is, do I invest in cryptocurrencies? And if so, which ones, and which ones have a good future ahead of them? The answer is that when I joined the industry, there was only one cryptocurrency, and that was Bitcoin, and that was forked off into several other altcoins, and had virtually no interest or volume and were incredibly easily manipulated, but they produced ultra high returns or very low, or you lost all your Bitcoin because you invested into something that was controlled by insiders and could be manipulated very easily. So the answer is Bitcoin is the core of what I believe in. I believe that the ability to own your own money, spend your own money, and have a monetary policy that rewards the saver rather than the debtor as a long-term store of value because of its fixed money supply is something that is going to be around for the long term. I also believe that there are ways to outperform Bitcoin or lose your Bitcoin if you're willing to take more risk, and that is to diversify into more alternatives and more speculative things. I also believe that you should diversify into other asset classes like equity that benefit from the growth of the industry. And so my approach has always been that. I also believe that there are going to be other user cases, like, for example, the platform that does disruption in central banking and traditional currencies may not be the same platform that does disruption in capital markets, IPOs, and venture capital. And maybe it's not the same platform that does disruption in the derivatives markets and futures and swaps and all sorts of options and different products from there. But I think these may be done on Bitcoin, these may not be done on Bitcoin, they may be done on different things. I also believe that the user case of having every transaction transparency like the Bitcoin blockchain might be not so beneficial for user cases that require ultra transparency and ultra privacy and fungibility and no ability to check the blockchain for those transactions. And it's very hard to see how these can all be solved by one thing. Many people are working on solving those on the Bitcoin blockchain by having side chains and lightning networks and different innovation. And I hope they succeed and create a better version of Bitcoin that people can use in different ways. I also believe that competition is good and that these different user cases are important to innovate. But I appreciate that these are way more speculative, and they might just be, in the end, be a way of accumulating more Bitcoin and ending up with Bitcoin in the end. It also might, be a wise thing to diversify against that thesis because there are still inherent risks in all these things. This is very speculative and no one knows exactly where it's going to go next. So do I own other cryptocurrencies? Yes, I do. Do I own Bitcoin? That is where the vast majority, I believe, is right for me. And do I diversify and look at other things and find them interesting? Yes. My full-time and our team's full-time job at BnkToTheFuture.com is to stay up to date with this industry. And even then it's moving so fast that we can't keep up, and we're having to hire a lot more people in order to keep up with that. And so that's why we created the platform, really, because we believe in diversification and also supporting Bitcoin and becoming what I believe will be the most disruptive thing in the traditional financial markets and one of the most important innovations in financial history.